Did you know that God's commands really are instructions for us so that we will know how to walk beside him through life? Not go our own little way, but walk with him. And when we do this, we're truly walking in love. In 2 John, someone writes and says, "Oh, it's so good to see your young people are walking in the truth, just as God commanded." And I'm writing to you to remind you to love one another. This is not a new commandment. What is love? True love is following God's commands. Do you remember growing up when someone commanded you not to look in the cookie jar? And then you had this strong urge to look in the cookie jar. You remember that? Well, you see, we have a sinful nature. And back in the day, the law, when people read the law, rules and regulations, when they read the law and they tried to live to the letter of it, it aroused evil desires in them. And those evil desires produced sinful deeds, right? Just like the cookie jar. I mean, the same concept. What was going on was sin attached itself to the law. I've always thought of sin as just like a verb. It's just a word, So if I do something sinful, whatever that action was, I would call that action sin. But in Romans, they talk about a guy says, "Hey, I want to do what's right, and I keep on doing what's wrong. I can't figure it out." I can relate to that. In verse 17, he says, "You know what? I want to do what's right." So it's not me that's doing the wrong. It's the sin living in me that's doing it. So sin is not a verb. It's actually a noun. It's a thing. And in Romans, again, it tells us that Jesus died once to break the power of sin. And then we became baptized, right? Our old sinful self was crucified on the cross with Jesus, okay? So that sin lost its power over us. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. Okay, so when all this happened, we died to the power of the law when we died with Christ. Okay? The power of the law. So we recap. Sin attached itself to the law. Jesus died to overcome sin, to break the power of sin. We got crucified so that sin has no power over us. So now we are dead to the power of the law. Later on, somebody asks, "Well, are you trying to say that God's law is sinful?" No. No, Jesus said it in Matthew. He said, "Don't misunderstand why I came. I didn't come to abolish the law of Moses or the writing of the prophets. No. I came that they may accomplish their purpose," right? So the law is good. And Jesus came to break the power of sin that was attached to the commandments so that they may accomplish their purpose, which is to reveal sin, not arouse it. That's kind of neat, isn't it? There's normally, when we're in the new covenant now, and whenever we start talking about commands, people they usually have two questions. Can I do anything on the Sabbath? And do we still have to tithe? Well, if God's put it on your heart that you should dedicate a day to him, I would suggest that you do it, because you know what? You're not going to lose anything by doing it. You're only going to, grow closer to him. But we do have to recognize that by doing a work or not doing a work on a certain day will do absolutely nothing for me getting into heaven. Okay, it's the blood of Jesus that gets me into heaven. Tithing, it's not a sacrifice, really. We look at it as a big sacrifice, but it's an opportunity. In the beginning of Malachi, it says, "Hey, bring in all the tithes and offerings and put them in the storehouse so that my temple may be full." Okay, so the first reason for the tithe is to take care of the church, to supply the church, to make sure the electric bill's paid, to make sure that the driveway's getting plowed, to make sure that there's food and clothing and means for families that are in need, all right? So it's to take care of the church. And then the second part is for us. This is the opportunity. It says, okay, bring in your tithes, and I'll open up the heavens and send down blessings, so many of them that you won't even be able to store them. Okay? Try it. Test me on this. That's what he says. You see, this is an opportunity, not a sacrifice. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You got to do it.
I'll be home when I die. Heaven's door will open wide just for me. The party starts and angels sing. Loved ones come with hugs they bring just for me. And I'm free. Free as I'll ever be. Yeah, I'm free. Free as I'll ever be. Walk along the riverside. Me and Jesus side by side will always be. The Father has revealed all things. Rising up on eagle's wings will always be. Just as free, free as I'll ever be. Yeah, I'm free. Free as I'll ever be. Jesus stronger than the wind. No one's greater than the sun. Over death he is won. He is King of glory. Here's the sinner's lonely cry. Angels dancing fill the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly to the King of glory. When the Father calls, I will be coming home. When the Father calls, I'm gonna hear it. Good and faithful one, I'm gonna mend your weary soul. What was broken now it is whole. Everyone will know the King of glory. There's no pain and there's no worry. No pain and there's no worry. There's no pain and there's no worry. All I feel is love. I'm free as I'll ever be. Yeah, I'm free. Free as I'll ever be. I'll be home when I die. Heaven's door will open wide just for me.